Okay, hello everyone. I am now live. Welcome to the Extreme Improv Update. Yes, what is this? I do these ever so occasionally, and I always intend to do them more, but I rarely get the opportunity to do it. But this is the Extreme Improv Update. And what this is something where it'll just be me. I don't think anyone's going to jump on and join me, mainly because I haven't sent out a link and they'd have no way of doing it. If they did, I'm being hacked somehow. But I'm just going to give you a very quick, maybe 5 or slightly longer minute update on all things extreme improv. Now, at the moment, we are currently in the midst, about halfway through the Extreme Improv Xstreamed World Championship Festival. I never worked out what I do for the F 2023. And it's been super exciting, and there's lots of exciting things still to come, and that's partly why I'm here, just to plug stuff, but also to talk about some stuff that's coming up in the future and just some general stuff that's happening in the world of extreme improv. And feel free, if you've discovered this stream, or look, if I'm not doing it whilst it's live, it doesn't matter, put it in the comments and I'll see it later. But what I was going to say is, give me comments, give me feedback, give me like input, because I will take this on board for stuff that goes forward for extreme improv in the future. Doesn't mean I'll do exactly what you say, doesn't mean that I'll be able to do it. Potentially a tool if it's something that's not possible for me, or it might just give me an idea that becomes something in like 18 months time, who knows. But I just wanted to say that today, this morning, if you're watching this live now, at 11 a.m. UK time, we're going to have the 6th. Like, my hand was down there, like leaning on something, because my chair keeps rotating. So it was like I was like 6, and then it was 5, right? But the 6th and final of the quarterfinal rounds in the Extreme Improv Xstreamed World Championship Tournament. Now, this is a special show because it's at 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And why is it at 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning? I've never done a championship show at 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning. The reason for this is because this is the World Championship, and there's a big old world out there. So this is is part of the championship, and all of the people taking part in it could go on and become the overall world champion. But this is part of the championship, but also a standalone championship event in its own right. And it's what I've dubbed a couple of different things, either the Extreme Improv Southern Hemisphere Championship or the Extreme Improv Midnight Championship, or maybe there was some other name I didn't come up with. Now, I think the Midnight Championship sounds cool. It sounds mysterious, but it's probably not midnight for anyone who's taking part. So that's why I didn't definitely go on that. And also, the reason I didn't land definitely on Southern Hemisphere is that I realized, oh, well, there's people, like, the time zones go around the world. They don't just go like up and down like this. So there's people who this time zone starting at 11 a.m. really suits them, but they're in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm not very good at geography, so that's why it ended up that way. But for this Southern Hemisphere Championship or Midnight Championship, it will kind of be a standalone show where at the end of it, one of them will be announced the overall winner of this show. But any of them who do well in the championship, like getting the top 4, will have the opportunity to progress in the rest of the championship. Now, I'm going to attempt at least to show you a couple of things just about how the championship is progressing, what guest shows and things we've still got coming up in the championship. We had a couple of guest shows last night. Don't worry if you missed them, because they're all on the YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/extreme improv, and you'll be able to watch them. You won't be able to give live suggestions, but they were a couple of great long form shows where they had all of their suggestions at the beginning anyway. So just imagine like you're tuning in 30 seconds late, and you'll be able to enjoy it as if it were live. So let's talk about what else we've got coming up. Now, there's something super important that's coming up today. So after 11 a.m. and we've had our Southern Hemisphere Championship, this last and 6th and final quarterfinal round in the World Championship. Tonight at 9 p.m. UK time, and that's very relevant, we're going to have the Extreme Improv UK Championship, and that is taking place live on stage. So if you want to see it, you have to turn up in person to be able to see it at the Etc. Theatre in Camden, which is in London. Like, the nearest tube stop is Camden Town. and then it's like a 2-minute walk from the station. Super easy to find. So if you are in London or can get there by 9 p.m. tonight, please come on down. I'm sure there'll still be a few tickets available on the door, and the more people there, the merrier, because this is improv and we need that atmosphere. We need audience suggestions. We don't just take one suggestion at the start of the show. We take suggestions and votes and all that fun stuff we do on Extreme Improv throughout the entire show. So let's just take a quick look at a couple of other things I want to show you. This is going to be all over the place. It always is when I do these updates. Oh, look, I've just brought up, look, I can do a cool like screen share thing, because this is why I'm streaming like through a different process than usual. Let's see, how do I spotlight that? It says remove, but I can't see it. Oh, okay. So if I go like this, you'll be able to see, look, there's me. Oh, it's kind of messed up my live streaming. So if I remove that a second, is my live streaming going to work again? Okay, so perhaps it was my fault. So if I press this again, add to stage. Oh, look, you will see me move twice at once. Isn't that exciting? Now, anyway, I'm going to show you where things currently stand on the World Championship Festival. So let's add this to stage here, and let's spotlight it properly. How do I do this? Oh my gosh, the panic, add to stage. There we go. So you'll be able to see here, guys, the semi-finals look like they're fully set, and they need to be as if they're fully set, because like I said, a lot of people joining today are from the southern hemisphere of the world, and so they may not be able to continue in the championship later. So I couldn't leave too many spots, but any spots of people that do want to go forward in the rest of the championship, they're very welcome to take them, and it just means we will have our fullest semi-final shows yet. Now, the lineup of the semi-finals, as you'll see in the middle of the screen here, if I move my mouse, you'll see it. We've got the semi-final 1 on Monday, 23rd of October, and semi-final 2 on Wednesday, the 25th of October. Now, the semi-finalists they're set that who they are, but they may juggle which show they're on. Some of them just need to confirm which show they can do, but I'll just confirm to you if you haven't seen all of the action so far. The semi-finalists between the two semi-finals, even if they don't quite end up, check like the Extreme Improv Facebook page later today, and we'll try to have this all fully lined up with who's on which show. We've got Deirdre, Lana, Ryan, Andy, Jack, David, Jessica, Corey, Ruth, Capelthave, and Charlotte on one side. I know for a fact David needs to be on the Wednesday show, and that's fine, but I'm sure there'll be a bunch juggling from this. On the second one, you'll see on the right side of the screen there, we've got Evan, Bob, Iris, Michael, Sean, JJ, Mel, George, Rob, Stephen, and Katie. Now, that's a fantastic lineup of performers, and probably, well, not probably, but one of them has got a very good chance. They all have a shot at being the world champion. But also in the show at 11 a.m. this morning, we have Nisha, L'Oreal, or Laurel, but L'Oreal, I don't know, Laurel maybe, Amber, Adam, Jayant, Akul, Matt, Luke, Matty, and Denise. And so some of those will have the shots to make it through to the semi-finals as well. But between all of those names I've just read, someone will end up being this year's world champion, because from our two semi-finals, half will go through, and then we're going to have a big grand finale show, which is Thursday, the 26th of October at 8 p.m. UK time. And there can only be one Extreme Improv Xstreamed world champion. So that's something very exciting going on. Let's bring up the next thing I want to show you. So look, it looks like it's not filled in. That's just because I haven't updated it. This is the website, and it shows stuff that's going on. You can check out like the past guest shows we had, like the Improfessionals. We've had last night, we had Emma T and Baylor. We had Chalmers Duo. This is, I've put it there, the Midnight Invitational, but that will crown our Southern Hemisphere champion or our Midnight champion. I quite liked the graphic I came up with there. Tonight, live on stage. I'm going to try and live stream it, so maybe you don't need to be there in person, but I'd prefer if you can, if it's possible for you to get there in person, get there in person. But we're going to have the Extreme Improv UK Championship 2023. We're going to be speaking a bit more about that in a moment. And then tomorrow, we're going to have our first semi-final. Then we've got another guest show with Get a Room. Tuesday, we're going to upload the complete saga in high quality of the UK Championship. So both semi-finals and the grand finale will be watchable. And then we're going to have on Wednesday, we're going to have the second semi-final and our good friends at Improv Chattanooga. And then the finale day, we're going to have Good News Toronto, who are doing their Good News UK show with Corey Birch. I think Danny O'George is going to be in that as well, who will be performing in tonight's UK Championship grand finale. And then Thursday, 8 p.m., we're going to have the World Championship 2023 grand finale. So there's tons of exciting stuff that's going on. There's a bunch of other things which I'll talk about. Let's bring myself back to full screen here just for a moment. Look at the green screen messing up my eyes. Now I'm gonna only be able to spend a few more moments doing this anyway, just because I need to get ready for the Midnight Invitational, the Southern Hemisphere Championship, the World Championship quarterfinal number 6. Yes, it is a show with 3 different potential names. And on top of that, it's also going to be Extreme Improv Xstreamed episode, I think, 462 maybe. There's been 462 episodes of Extreme Improv Xstreamed. Now, if you are already a subscriber on the YouTube channel, spread the word. Ask someone else to subscribe. I've been trying to get it so that the channel is monetized, because over the last few years, been doing all of this. And, you know, it's so much cheaper to be able to do online shows than it is to do stage shows, but everything costs. So if there was just this ad revenue coming in, it would help make it that much easier. And it would also help it so that there could be more and more shows. Like back at the height of when there was the pandemic and everything, there was like 10 shows a week. And I'd like to get it so that there's more and more shows again. At the moment, there's about 5 shows a week, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. This week, there's been a whole heck of a lot more. But the more people that subscribe, the more people that end up watching the shows and sharing the shows, the more shows there can be and the more opportunities there will be for performers to connect and do all of that fun stuff. Now, a couple of other things that I did want to bring up and talk about, if I could bring it up here, is I'm going to talk a little bit more about the UK Championship, I should say. How do I get it up? So there we go. So here we can see the lineup for tonight. We can see here the Extreme Improv UK Championship, and look at that handsome chap in the middle. That's me, and I will be hosting it. I might get involved in a couple of games, mostly just to throw the spanner in the works or help things along, somewhere between the two. But I won't be competing for the championship, as I usually don't, just so I can try to keep someone impartial and fair. But we've got a fantastic lineup of performers, including Danny O'George, who I mentioned earlier, Katie Tranter, who's also in the World Championship tournament and has gone through to the semi-finals. Here we see Ryan. Here we see Joe. There's Tyson. Now, JJ, I think, isn't going to be able to make it because another commitment has unfortunately meant that he has had to bow out. But, you know, we thank him for last week for being in the semi-finals and making it through as grand finalists either way. Peter and Rebecca. So there's like a great lineup of performers and they all need your support. So get down to the Etc. Theatre in Camden Town, in London. Nearest tube station is Camden Town. And it's just a couple of minutes walk above the Oxford Arms. So when you see like the Oxford Arms, this is a fringe theatre, like a pub theatre that's been around for like 30 odd years or something. I think at least since the 1980s. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Couple of fun facts. We did our very first show at the Etc. Theatre in 2010, before Extreme Improv was even known as Extreme Improv. And we went back there. We did a charity show for Comic Relief in 2019, I believe. Was it 2018? 2019. So we've been there a few times. It's always nice to return to our point of origin. But another thing I would like to talk about here, let's see if I can make it even more on the spotlight, is that we've got a new show that's going to be coming up in London, also in Camden, but back at the Camden Comedy Club. And that is going to be the Extreme Improv Comedy Show. And it's a big night of comedy mayhem. And this is starting in December, and it will be the second Tuesday of every month. And on the second Tuesday of every month, we are going to have an evening from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. filled with improv, including guest acts, including a live edition of the Extreme Improv Xstreamed show, which once again, like we are going to tonight, we're going to try to live stream these so you don't miss out on seeing Extreme Improv Xstreamed on a Thursday night. It will just be live on stage and broadcast out, and we'll still be able to take suggestions and everything from the audience, just as we always do. And yeah, and we'll have guest shows, and then we're going to end with a jam. So if you go to the website xstream.tv, and if you go up here, it says perform with us. Now you can actually just click on perform with us, and it'll bring up some information about how to get involved. Oh, look at that, ads popping up. And so there's loads of different ways you can get involved. But there is this new page under Perform With Us where it says take part in the Extreme Improv monthly show at the Camden Comedy Club. And it's got all of the information here, how you can take part as a guest act, how you can take part as an individual performer, and the monthly jam. So it tells you everything you need to know. And I want to give as many opportunities for different people to get involved as possible. We're going to try to have it so that we have the lineup of performers confirmed a couple of months in advance. So hopefully we'll start getting some of the performers announced for the debut of this new monthly show in December over the next week or so. And like, I'll be there. That's exciting. That's something. But hopefully we'll have some guest acts. And if you're a long time Extreme Improv fan, one of the exciting things for me is that it's an opportunity where, as well as our Extreme Improv show, some of our other shows, which either have only or mostly just been online and never been on stage, will have an opportunity to get on stage as well as one of the guest shows, if that makes sense. It won't quite be a guest show because it will be like, you know, an Extreme Improv show. So how is it a guest? But it'll be a guest show in the sense that it's not going to be the regular monthly Extreme Improv show. And so this means that we'll be able to have live editions of some of the shows like you see highlighted in the back here. Definitely going to be having Geek Battle live on stage again. We've done we've done a couple of previous Geek Battles live on stage. I definitely intend for there to be a Revenge of the Werewolf live on stage. And we may have Slam Jam Wrestling Show live on stage and the Jesters Jam, and there's so many possibilities. So this is super exciting, and we need all of you to get involved. So anyway, like the places to get in touch. Like you can tell, I'm very tired. There's a long day ahead, and like my voice is already sounding like it's suffering just because we had like 2 shows last night. Check them out on the YouTube channel. But guys, there are so many places to follow and interact and get involved with Extreme Improv, and I invite you to do so. Watch, get involved, take part, perform if you want to. Excuse me. I'm going to run through some of them now, and I know this is the Extreme Improv update, and it's so super pluggy. Like, I haven't even told you about, like, guys, like, I have completely updated. If you watch the regular shows, you'll see down the side of the screen, there is the suggestion generator app, and it's had a complete overhaul. I'm going to show you a tiny bit of behind the magic here. So we make it work via green screen when we add it to the stream. That way it doesn't look green in the background, and it's not static, and it has a video background, and it's really cool. But it's got all new buttons and things, and so we can get all of our selection of fictional characters, real people, songs, movies, random words, you know, colors, letters of the alphabet. But then we've doubled it in scope just because with the click of a button, we now have double the categories. So we get suggestions of plot twists, of powers, of like shows from the theater, of body parts, you know, of different currencies. Oh, that one's went blank. Isn't that ironic? Like large unit, a rand. I don't know what a rand is. But anyway, so weapons, types of relationships, you know, different categories of all sorts of stuff. Sins and virtues. Now that's really cool. Like, it means that we can do so many more possible things on the show. So I thought I'd show you that quick behind the scenes thing, because you can actually get the Extreme Improv app on Android. It's not exactly the same as the version you're seeing here, but within time it will get updated, and then you'll have double as many categories and all kinds of other things which will, you know, make it so that you can aid your improv sessions, your shows, your workshops, and get so much more out of them. And so but you can get the Extreme Improv app currently on Android, and it's got thousands of different suggestions and games and things that you can play about with it, sound effects that you can play, and all kinds of stuff. But the new version is on the way. I thought I'd give you that sneak peek preview. Yeah, so the places to follow Extreme Improv. First of all, check out the website. And look, there's two websites for Extreme Improv. There's either extremeimprov.co.uk, but the main modern website is, of course, www.xstreamed.tv. So obviously, you know, this kind of makes it apparent, but like, it's like the word extreme, but it's X streamed because we're streamed. We do so many streaming shows. So xstreamed.tv, and as well as information and tickets on shows and how to get involved as a performer. You know, you can watch all of our videos on like the main page. There's all kinds of articles about movies, video games, pro wrestling, improv, travel, all the stuff that we do with our different channels like Jet Lagged and Loving It, Slam Jam, and Geek Battle. But we have all of the other platforms that we're on, and such as TikTok, such as YouTube, such as Facebook, X, and all of these other things. So do check them out. Usually, I think this is pretty much the case across the board now. You just go to whatever the platform is, like facebook.com, and then it's / Extreme Improv. You know, TikTok. Whatever it is, / and it might be at Extreme Improv. I know YouTube have added that recently. But if you search Extreme Improv, you will find us. And if you smash that subscribe button, like click the thumbs up, hit the follow, you know, whatever you need to do, it will really help spread the word. So the more people that follow, the more people these will recommend to follow us. And it's like a little bit like the snowball effect. It's free, it's easy, and it helps a lot. So anyway, we've got just about 15 minutes until the Extreme Improv Xstreamed Midnight Invitational, the Southern Hemisphere Championship, the 6th and final of the quarterfinal rounds will be happening. So I'm going to have to clock off of here for now, and I will see you in a few minutes on all of the Extreme Improv social media channels. So ciao for now. Boom. And I'm off the air.